My name is Angelina, and I am documenting a journey. This journey is based around my relationship with my camera and my photography practice in general. For background, I studied photography my entire undergrad pretty much, and before that it was like a hobby that I just really loved doing. Had a relationship with photography for probably 10 years. However, I have not shot with this camera in probably 3 years. I have not shot in general in terms of like actually took photography seriously in probably 2 years or a year and a half. Part of that is, different endeavors, and I moved to a different country and I'm in school getting my master's. But also a large part of that was I lost my external hard drive, and my external hard drive had the past 10 years of work on it. So it's been an interesting journey, to say the least, for me to think about photography in relation to myself and a photography practice. I think that there's an aspect of, I went to one of the best art schools in the United States, and it's different to go to an art school that sometimes you just don't feel passionate about your work anymore, and that's because it's being scrutinized, and it's like kind of scrutinized in a good way. I guess scrutinized isn't the best word, but critique, if anyone has ever been in a critique before. It does feel like your work is being scrutinized. Your intentions, your technique, your style, your whatever, like everything is kind of able to be pulled apart in a critique. And so that messed with my self-esteem as I went from, not feeling, I felt like kind of king of the world when I did photography, and like I was always getting so many compliments from people, whether that be like in my high school photo class or like from my friends or family, and like my photography practice has grown, and part of the reason I'm doing this is because I got an amazing opportunity for a photograph that I photographed probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. But the point being, I'm already sweating. The point being, I am trying to reconnect with photography, and specifically this camera. So this is the EOS Rebel T6, and I didn't realize, but this camera is like 10 years old, and that's not major. I think there's always this like consumerism of like, you need to buy new. But in terms of photography, this is important because it's a DSLR, and so it still has the mirror in it, where everyone is trying to move into mirrorless. At least that's what school was like. Everything was kind of being pushed towards mirrorless. But yeah, this is a 10-year-old digital camera, and I was like, I need a new camera. That's why I'm not shooting. I need to go buy, a Leica. I need to go spend a couple $1,000s that I don't have on a camera. And I was just like, no, work with what you have. So I am going to cut this intro down, but what you need to know is I'm taking my camera, and this may be a series, this may never see the light of day, but we're gonna go shoot. So back to kind of where we were. I decided to look more at my photos, and the ones I'm looking at now were kind of just about, it's more just I was playing with lighting and understanding lighting in the world around me, because I found a really interesting scene, because then I started playing with depth of field, I think, around here, trying to really show how deep the path kind of went. I think it gets pretty murky because it gets darker, because I'm, again, trying to get this really bright kind of blue and capture the shadows and things like that. Still a very interesting photograph. In terms of color, yeah, they can kind of see how blue, and this is obviously the camera, it's still pretty nice and bright blue outside, but just finding like what was, you know, a good color, where this is like way blown out. This is more a little true to what I'm seeing in actuality. This is really dark, but I'm still like, oh, I really want those pinks. But these greens, they become more lush for sure, but it's like, yeah, this is too dark. It's too dark to compete with what reality is, which I think sometimes is what photography is about. Again, I was trying to get, you know, the depth that this, you know, goes here, and this is a tree, and this is a tree, and this is and this and this. Like, these are all trees that, you know, if you're looking at it, you can kind of see the depth, but through a camera, you don't get it as much. It's a flat image, you know, versus 3D space. But, you know, I'm trying to figure it out here, where it's like the light is just blown out, so I'm figuring that out. And then trying to find, you know, going back to this tree, I think I changed the lens at this point and was able to zoom in. So I kind of cropped the image more, and yeah, I was still focused on understanding. If you can kind of see, it's like, okay, finding where is light, where is a little too dark, kind of playing with my camera settings. I mean, that one's a little blurry, but yeah, like I basically went from where the tree was and then just kind of scanned around me. And I saw this like tree that had kind of fallen down. I was mad that, at least in the sun, obviously, I couldn't see this fence. So I kind of became fixated on like, how can I bring this fence into more view? And I kind of got towards it, like you see it more in this image. Because I'm like, you can see it a lot more in person, obviously. But just trying to understand the functions of the camera was a lot of my goal within those 2 hours. And yeah, I think towards the end, I was just like, yeah. But yeah, I found there was this bird that was like in my direct eyesight. So I switched my lens again to like my super close-up lens. And started trying to capture the bird. Like here, it's like too bright, and those were pretty dark. But yeah, for 2 hours worth of time of, you know, just messing around, really not having ideas or plans, I think I got some interesting shots. It also just, you know, being out in nature inspires me. I did some yoga outside. Like, anyone who loves me, anyone who knows me knows I love being outside. That sentence like folded in itself. But also anyone who loves me also knows that. But the point being, I want to get back into my photography journey, and this is step one of doing that. And then, like, in terms of step one, this was me being able to be like, you have a good camera, go out, shoot. Like, back when you didn't even have, I was shooting on my iPhone when I first started, so it's like, you used to not even have that, and you still found so much joy in photos and creating stories and scenes. But nature photography is like something that's always easy to see the technical aspects of photography, where you're able to measure lighting and color and figuring out that balance. So this is episode 1. If I edit it, if I don't, my bad. If this ever meets the light of day, yo, trust and believe in yourself. That's not just a message to you guys, it's a message to me. Trust and believe in yourself. You have all the tools you need. You don't need to fall into the traps of consumerism. And, like, be kind to others and yourself.